There it is, 3 mountains on today's route, although they're speed bumps compared to the mountains the riders have just come out of. 198.5 kilometres setting out from Muret, and the first order of business is the intermediate sprint at 92.5 kilometres. Then come 1/3 and 2/4 category climbs, at which the points will doubtless be taken by the day's breakaway. The question is, which teams will have the will and the means to catch the breakaway before yet another tough uphill finish to a supposedly flat stage?
Bill, the nasty thing about this profile is it's one of those climbs that does not go straight down and give the riders a little bit of respite. There's some false flat over the top. It undulates for a fraction.
Well, you take a look at some of the faces here now. The Sky team have got Chris Froome right up to the front. Richie Porte, his wingman, has been dropped by the peloton here on the run-in. The man that was looking after him so well in the Pyrenees. As they go under 10 kilometres to go, it's 46 seconds the spread now.
It's been a very, very tough day. It's been tough because of the undulations of the course. Nowhere to recover on a day like this, and of course the heat has been dramatic. Almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit out on the course, 36, 37 degrees Celsius. These three are hoping to survive. Thomas de Gent in the red jersey, he's done so much work for the team, he's done so much sacrifice riding on the front for Andre Greipel. Here he's hoping they can create a little bit of a surprise, but they're still itching. I'm sure, Phil, they're looking around their corners there saying, where's this descent? I'm waiting for the descent to start, and they still haven't yet got a chance to look across the valley and see that magical cathedral right in the very heart of the town of Rodez.
37 seconds, Jens Voigt. We're seeing the peloton now catch Nathan Haas. He's struggling all the way to stay clear. Is there any chance at all with the descent coming they could just steal this show?
No, the peloton has a lot more fresh riders to feed into the chase, into the work, and I don't know. I don't see a chance. Look, he looks like he's giving up. No, that's Thomas Voeckler. He's getting dropped here. So, no, the break is not gonna, no, break's not gonna make us no chance at all. And you can see how fast the peloton goes. People getting dropped all the time now on the back of the peloton. No chance for the break.
JC Perot, well, I think he's raised the white flag here, but well done, mate. You've managed to get to the finish.
These three are all looking strong at the moment, and we've got the very confusing finish. I'm not too sure they will get caught at 5.7.
It's going to be very, very difficult for them to stay off the front, because 30 seconds at these speeds is not very much more than about 450 metres. But the strange thing is, at the main field, Phil, they can almost reach out and touch those riders in front. And I'm just having a quick look down there and seeing a FDJ coming up on the left-hand side. Now, it may well be that their sprinter, Arnaud Demar, has survived on a day like this. You can see the MTN Quebecer squad at the front in the black and white jerseys, and I'm looking down, well, there it is over on the right-hand side. Right on the wheel of Peter Sagan is Edvald Boasson-Hagen.
Well, Mark Cavendish has said normally it's not a sprint for him. It's a very confusing sprint. It's technical, but he says he has won on a hill steeper than this before, and we know that's to be true. And he's right there at the front of that peloton. And they've taken out some of the traffic islands here to give these riders a clear run into the centre, but there are plenty more to confuse them as we go down. We're now running down to the start of the climb, 4.7 kilometres to go.
Well, funny thing, Phil, is we've mentioned a couple of times when people have said Mark Cavendish does not have any chance at all, and I'm thinking about a stage finish into Aubenas a couple of years ago. They said, well, there's a second category climb before the end. We'll get rid of Mark Cavendish. Guess what? They didn't do it on that occasion.
4 kilometres to go, 5 kilometres to go, I'm sorry, as they went under the banner there, and the peloton are chasing at 24 seconds at the 5 kilometre mark. These three riders in the lead have been ahead of the race literally since the flag was pulled in to give the start at Muret. They've led the whole way.
Well, we're now looking for the next banner to indicate 4 kilometres to go, and it's a very, very high speed now as they go around. They are soon, Phil, about to pick up the downhill section of the course. It could be very, very close, and it could go down to the last 500 or 600 metres.
This is a very, very hairy descent now as they dodge the way down. They go right to the basement. You'll see the roads flying over the viaducts above as the peloton are under 4 to go now.
At these speeds, Phil, that 4 kilometres today is not going to take them very much more than 4 minutes and 20 seconds or so. Peter Sagan was comfortably sitting up at the front end of the main field. There are so many of the big names who are looking to get themselves an open account this afternoon. Kelderman now leads them down the decision. They said they shouldn't lose very much time at all here as Kelderman gets into that low-profile decision. He's getting now relayed by the rider in the dark green. That is Gauthier.
3 kilometers to go. Jens, they're hanging on in there. What do you think now?
Yeah, but a bigger road in the valley, it's always in favor of the peloton, because the peloton just rolls faster with so many people in there. It's getting closer second by second. I'm afraid they're just gonna manage to catch him right on the bottom of the climb. Basically, underneath the 1 kilometer mark, I guess they're gonna get caught, unfortunately, after all that hard work.
Well, they've got 19 seconds. They go under that 3 kilometers to go banner. The peloton with twists and turns now as they continue to race down here. MT and Quebec are confident. Bosenhagen can sprint away from the pack.
Well, the racer radio is telling me it's 15 seconds the gap between these three and the front end of the main field, and they are really stretching it out now into a long line in the peloton. You can see the green jersey with the yellow helmet on it there of Peter Sagan. He's hovering around, he's waiting for the opportunity. He's been waiting since 2013 to get himself a stage victory.
2 kilometers we've gone under now. The peloton are at 15 seconds. They are absolutely flying downhill here. We'll be doing speeds of 70, 75 kilometers an hour, but very shortly we'll hit the climb that brings them to the finishing line. Wilco Kelderman flicks his arm. Come on and give me a hand here. These are desperate moments. They're getting tired.
I'll tell you one thing, Phil, if it was flat from here to the finish, I would give the advantage to these three men. But, well, there's a problem at the back.
That's Bart Mollema, I think.
It looks as if Bart Mollema has got himself a flat tyre. You can see MTN Quebec riders under the 2 kilometre to go flag are disappearing. We're now starting to see Katusha come to the front. Not too far, there he is in the green jersey there. In fact, it looks as if Michael Matthews in the white is now, Phil, starting to mix it up.
He's got the wheel of Mark Cavendish, can you believe? The man who is riding injured has now said he feels better. He's got the wheel of Mark Cavendish. Also, Christophe is coming up too. Alexander Christophe. I'd almost forgotten he was in the Tour de France. As they now come 1.2 kilometres to go. Danilo Wies has gone to the front. As we're coming up towards the 1 kilometre to go. They're still clear, but now it's going to climb.
Well, now is the moment, Phil, when this race really starts to bite in. 1 kilometre to go now for the main field as well, and they're all lining themselves up. But it is so very precarious. These guys, they mustn't look over their shoulder right now because they're coming. They're boring down upon them. The gap is not more than 11 seconds.
This is going to be so close. Well, at least we proved the computer wrong. They're supposed to have been caught kilometres ago. As they come up towards the line, De Gent is just storming up this hill. Kelderman is right there. Gauthier is on his wheel.
But I tell you what, Mark Renshaw is on the front of the main field, just a little bit further back, trying to lead it out for Mark Cavendish. This is the big acceleration now. They're getting so close to the finish. It's going to be very, very close as Kelderman's got Cyril Gauthier right on his wheel.
350 metres to go. Arnaud Demar is coming in the blue and the white jersey. Kelderman is inching closer, but look at the green jersey as well, as it's Greg Van Avermaet is coming up over the top. The sprinter from Team BMC, Sagan is going with him. They've caught them right on the line here now, and can this be the big win that Greg Van Avermaet has sought all his career? Sagan is gritting his teeth, but can he come round him or can he not? And I'm not too sure, as Greg Van Avermaet, will this hill ever end? And it's about to now. Can Peter Sagan find something as he holds his back wheel? Now he sees the finish, now he kicks. Peter Sagan comes to the line and loses, because Greg Van Avermaet, that was a brilliant victory for Team BMC.
Well, that, Phil, was a phenomenon. There's the yellow jersey crossing the line, Vincenzo Nibali. There are a few gaps in the field tonight as well. TJ Van Garderen has come across the line. How about this? A little climb up to the finish in Rodez, and there are time gaps in the main field.
Desperate moments now. Feel sorry for that breakaway. They led for the whole race distance except the last 200 metres.
And from there until the last 10 metres, Slovakia was on its feet, willing Peter Sagan past Greg Van Avermaet. But he knew he'd lost it early enough not to make it worth throwing his bike. 4 second places now for Peter Sagan, a third of the 12 road stages, although the result does put him back in first in the points competition.
Peter, bad luck. You must be really frustrated with that. Is there anything, thinking about it, that maybe you could have done differently, or was Van Avermaet just stronger on the day?
It's not bad luck. It was my mistake because I was waiting too long, and after I was pushing in over on the saddle, and then I come to wheel in Avermaet, and I just sit down, and that when I did mistake, because I had to continue pushing up, and I could win, but no, it was my stupid head.
Here's the official result, and if any indication were needed as to how hard the finish was, look at the names on it. From Chris Froome in 6th down to Geraint Thomas in 14th, the top 9 finished as a block. And Bauke Mollema in 10th had a mechanical close enough to the finish to be given the same time despite finishing 88th. Lantern Rouge Michael Matthews was a fighting 17th. No one had a harder day today than Jean-Christophe Perrault after his heavy crash. Oddly, he rolled in with Nathan Haas, who'd spent almost the whole stage in the breakaway. And before he'd even been to the medical truck to have his injuries properly looked at, he was declaring his intention to start tomorrow's stage. Now, not content with being in the day's break and then attacking from it, Nathan Haas produced one of the day's odder images, deciding to audition for the circus onto the descent into Rodez.
It was good fun. I set out this morning, with one mission, it was to have fun in the race. I've been really struggling since being sick early on in the race, so I've always known in myself that when I have fun in a race and enjoy it, it tends to be when the racing instinct comes out. So I wrote on my arm this morning as a reminder to have fun, and I stuck to that plan, and I had a good time. Yeah.
Wonderful. More fun planned?
You'll see.
We will. I think we'll check his arm for biro marks in the morning. Greg Van Avermaet stole the stage win from the break, though, if a brilliantly timed commitment of effort can be called stealing. BMC's second of the tour after the team time trial.
Yeah, I was really happy. It's when you're winning, everything is perfect. And I went pretty early, I think, but in La Havre, everybody was waiting. So I tried to go from really early, and I was seeing that there was only one guy in my wheel, and I was hoping he didn't come over, and happy I was waiting to the end.
No change at the top tonight then, the first 9 having finished together, and Bauke Mollema was then given the same time as their group. There was a little bit of shuffling in the teens, but nothing worth dwelling on. At the bottom, Michael Matthews hauled himself out of last place, past his teammate Svein Tuft, as Sam Bennett slipped down to Lantern Rouge.
The signs are, though, that you're recovering, Michael.
Yeah, definitely. From getting dropped every single day until now, finishing with the best guys in the world in the Tour de France and in the biggest race in the world, it's a massive improvement. And I got to say a big thanks to my team for being able to put me in this position to try and go for the win today, with just from the small things like bringing me water all day to helping me in the final, to the Swannies and the physios, to getting my back 100%, almost back to 100% ready. And yeah, the team's been behind me every single day trying to push me to keep me in the race, and it's been great.
So a brief cameo appearance at the front today just to make sure nobody tried to jump him on the final climb, but otherwise as quiet a day as Chris Froome has had since the rest day.
Well, Chris Froome, I was going to say cooling down, but probably heating up. You're sitting here in the sun. That was absurd out there, wasn't it, today? But, I mean, in terms of the race, relatively easier for you?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that compared to yesterday, for example, that was a much welcome day on the wheels today. But wasn't easy by any means. And I think we saw, I mean, even just a 500-metre climb at the end there, you could see the heat just wearing on everyone all day. That caused those big splits in the end.
Now listen, tomorrow has a little look of a GC kind of a day again about it, doesn't it? I mean, there are so many of these stages, it seems, in a Christian Prudhomme tour. So you've got to be on your guard and maybe take an opportunity tomorrow again.
Certainly. I mean, we've got finishes up a climb called Mond tomorrow, which is quite a savage gradient for 3 kilometers. So I mean, it's not a huge mountain pass, but certainly at over 10%, that's going to make a lot of damage tomorrow.